Welcome to this special edition of the WT Sports Network. I'm your host, Cale Steed, representing the Lone Star Conference, and thank you for joining us for Buffalo Week. In her 5th season as an assistant coach for the Lady Buff volleyball team, Sarah Carthel is one of the most accomplished players to ever take the court. She enjoyed one of the most outstanding careers in Division II volleyball history as a student athlete in the late 90s. We asked Sarah to explain the rich history of volleyball at West Texas A&M.
I think if you talk about the history of the WT volleyball team, you kind of have to talk about the volleyball and the Panhandle itself. You know, there's a lot of high schools around here that have great volleyball, and we get to draw some of those athletes from that area. The Panhandle has great work ethic. Moving that and putting that into what WT has to offer, great boosters, good fan support, you know, some very intelligent coaches that have come through here that wanted to make themselves better, make the team better, make the program better. I think if you put those together, kind of made that history. I mean, you have to go back to the 80s when the Myatt twins were here. Julie and Jill Myatt, and they have even stayed close contact with us throughout the rest of the years that we've been a powerhouse Division II program. Coach Hudson was a great, intricate part of developing the history and helping out. But Debbie Hendricks coming afterwards, I mean, both of those won national championship. Both of those coaches won national championships here, and I think recruited the type of athletes that did well in this environment. But I think a lot, and most of the credit goes to the fans and the boosters of the program that have been here the longest. Some of them have had daughters that have played here, and some of them haven't had anything. Just a love for the game and a love for the athletes, and that love and that support, I think, is what has created such a rich history. It's a great conference. I think that there has been times where I think volleyball has struggled as a sport, and WT being, I think, as good and as successful as they have been, has been able to be pretty successful in the conference. I think with the way that the sport is growing, you've got coaches out there that have actually played. You've got coaches that have been coaching for a long time. They get into those positions in the conference, and they're going to make their team better. And so with the Lone Star Conference volleyball getting so good as it is right now, competing very successfully against the MIAA, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, I think that's just raised our level of play as well. You know, if you don't, you get left in the dust. And so, you know, I've seen that change, especially in the Lone Star Conference. They have to be athletic, and I think that's our number one. We have to have them win games for us. And as much as I think that the coaches would like to get out there and play sometimes, those kids are the ones that are going to have to do it on the court. As far as, you know, personal characteristics, competitiveness is number one up there, and probably being able to deal with pressure. We like the kids that are the go-to people or the go-to players on their high school teams or on their club teams, that are used to handling that pressure and making the plays when you need it. We say work ethic a lot. Work ethic is probably the minimum requirement for our team. That's what we expect of everybody. And so going above and beyond that, probably just a competitiveness, a hate to lose type of mentality. You want those out there, and just to be able to go, okay, and everybody look at each other and go, we don't lose at the box. We try to win the Lone Star Conference Championship. We try to do, I mean, those are our goals, and they can look at each other and go, okay, we're on the same page. I think athletics in general prepares a lot of student athletes, just being a part of it, being part of a team, having to work together, you know, setting goals, trying to achieve those goals with a group of people. There's not very many work environments out there that one person's just going to be by themselves, working by themselves. You're usually going to be working with some sort of group or team, and you have to get along with them. So You know, I think just being in that environment develops that. Being able to hold yourself to a standard and hold the people around you to a standard, I think we try to instill that a lot. And instead of letting things kind of go bad, they have the guts, I think, and the confidence to step up and say, hey, you know, I don't like the way it's going. I feel like you guys don't either. Let's change it. Let's make a change. Identifying, you know, what's going wrong and then making a change to it. And that's a life skill, and that's some things that I don't think a lot of people get experience in. And knowing that they can make a difference if they just step up and say something, that confidence building, I think is what we really try to instill in our girls.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck this season. This ends today's episode of Buffalo Week. Check back tomorrow as we speak with Lady Buff soccer player Kelsey Wright. For Lone Star Conference, I'm Cale Steed.